Well, hello racing fans, and welcome to our Gallop TV preview show for Wednesday, the 30th of October. We race at Hollywoodbets Greyville. What's happening? We got 8 races carded. Let's have a look at the times. First race will be at 12:35, and the big one, the pick 6, at 13:45. 8 races on the go. Race number 1 will kick off the exotics, and it will be the start of the bipod. You need to get on by 12:35, 1,600 meters the distance, maiden plate, fillies and mares. As we bring up the field, we'll say hello to Sheldon. He's in studio with me today for the show. And looking at the 8 races on card, Sheldon, we start off with an odds-on shot.
Yes, looking at the betting, 4.5 to 10 and 5 to 10 available about number 6, One Path, and then it's 3 to 1, number 7, Nautical Landing. Now, these all things being equal, number 6, One Path, going the extra 200 meters, has run on the poly for a third. Last time, I thought Gavin Arena gave it a peach of a ride, looked to steal the race, and Lady of Distinction just managed to edge out the One World. If staying the 1,600 meters, which she should do in this field, should be very tough to beat.
It looks that way, and I'm glad you mentioned, if staying the 1,600, because I tried to find something in the pedigree. There's nothing there. She's related to Poppy of Bayou, who got 1,400 meters for Duncan Howell, so there is a slight question mark with regards to distance, but if she gets the trip, I think she's the right horse in the race. Whereas on the other hand, Nautical Landing, we know that she loves the surface and she has no stamina doubts over this distance.
Well, the key factor here with Nautical Landing, there might be a plan to set some decent fractions and try and undo the favourites. So Tristan Godden, the Mark Miller team, been up to 1,800 when third to Sweeter Than Honey. And over 1,600 meters, if there's a chink in the armour of One Path over a mile, Nautical Landing might try and stretch her out. So I'm going to sit on the fence. I won't be taking 5 to 10. Will be my first selection, but I've got healthy respect for number 7, Nautical Landing. And then after that, number 2, Madame Pompadour. Let me just see what price she is. 25 to 1. A horse who's just gone off the boil recently. I've got a feeling this could be an exacta and trifecta inclusion.
Okay, nice outsider there. I read the race the same way. If you want to beat the favorite, you need to make her work. And the only way you're going to make her work is know that she's trying the distance, and you got a filly that gets the triple races up handy. Make the favorite work. And if that has to work into plan, and 7 beats 6, you'll get a nice exacta dividend here. But both Sheldon and I think the favorite is the right horse, but you're going to have to be the judge if you want to use this in your multiples at 5 to 10. Number 7, Nautical Landing, could be the big danger there. And Sheldon has picked up number 2, Madame Pompadour, as a trifecta quartet horse. So race number 1, pretty straightforward, and I'm sure everybody is through in leg 1 of the bipod.
Welcome back for race number 2, which will be run over 1,400 meters. It will be the opening leg of the place accumulator. And at this early stage of recording, 7 runners are carded to go down to the start, with 1 or 2 of them running recently. The likes of Plettenberg 7 days ago, and also number 3, Le Ultimo. Now, when it comes to the betting, number 3, Le Ultimo, 18 to 10. Number 7, Stevie G, is 28 to 10. And then we go out 33 to 10 and better the balance. Now, this horse, number 3, Le Ultimo, the penultimate run, I went in for the plunge, got the money over the 1,400. And then these, we had a chat last time out. I said if it was 1,400, I'd label this an absolute certainty. The mile trip, we saw this horse Forest Jump sneak up the inside, and the last 50 meters, Le Ultimo just got collared.
I think that Never Say Die from Tristan Godden was very good that day, to show determination. And Daryl Moore's runner looked beat, got onto the inside, got up. If you were on Ultimo, you're possibly counting the cash, but unlucky for that day with Forest Jump coming through to win. So this is 1,400 meters. Rachel claiming the 1.5 kgs. Obvious horse, right horse in the race. I think I found a nice horse here for backup in Aldrak, Alison Wright's runner. Signs were there last time out behind the stable companion that the horse may be coming back to his better form. Master Bling was in that race. He was a bit luckless in running that day. He came out to win. So although this horse hasn't won for, let's call it 8.5 months or so, I think he's the type of horse that could win this. Short in confidence, but looking at his last start, I'm going to give him an each-way chance at 5-1. So that's going to be my backup. And then Stevie G, it seems better over 1,200. I know the form is there. He just seems better over shorter. But many will be encouraged by his last start. But I'll stick with 3, and 5 being the backup in the bipot and the place accumulator.
Just one horse that I want to add in, a horse that I've been following closely. I haven't had a bet on this horse recently. Number 6, Crested Eagle. This horse has been exceptionally well to me, and the days that he has won are the days that I've fired this individual. And if everything works out over the 1,400-meter trip at around about 7-1, certainly worth taking exactors, maybe the 3, the 5, and the 6. And then we know about Stevie G, possibly better over a furlong shorter. Number 1, Plettenberg, a horse that can be in and out, and then you've got number 2, Brass Bell. So some hard knockers in race number 2, but number 3, Le Ultimo, sets the standard, and I think over 1,400 meters, the horse to beat, and then 5 and 6, the 2 horses to follow home.
Well, we're on to race number 3. It's the start of the Pick 6, 1,400 meters, merit rated 90 handicap. We'll bring up the field. You need to get on by 13:45. That's a 1:45. The betting, number 1 at 17-10, 2 at 5-1, 3 is at 9-2, 5 Faiza at 6-1, 6 Spelling Bee at 9-2, and it's double figures the balance. I'm going to suggest 2 horses in the place accumulator here, Sheldon, and the obvious horse will have to be Strathclyde. It'll be foolish to ignore him because he doesn't have any form on the poly track, but just the way he's been racing. Madison Valley coming through to enhance the form line of his last start, which had an average rating of 100. This is an 87. I must pay compliments to Tony Riverland, the way he's got this horse going. And the 1.5 kgs is an absolute bonus. Draw 1. Takes to the poly, horse to beat. But the backup for the PA is going to be Giambattista. Now, Wendy Whitehead, take a bow. As a 6-year-old, you got this horse in such fine form. I say as a 6-year-old because he ended off his 5-year-old career with an absolute bang, and 1 run as a 6-year-old, and he's won. So this horse is a poly specialist. He's got the draw. And regardless of him being up in the ratings, I think he just loves racing on the surface. So I'm going to go 1 and 2. But before I hand over to you, my roughie in the race that I'm suggesting to include in everything is going to be Parmenion. 12-1.
Well, there we go. Number 8, Parmenion, your roughie. I like a little bit of number 7, Ibuto, at around 20-1. If you look at his course and distance record, 6 of his 7 wins on the poly, and he's the type of horse who will be looking to run a big race here. But I'm in full agreement with you. Number 1, Strathclyde, 1,400 meters, jump, race up handy. He's a big, strong, strapping individual. If he takes to the poly, he wins. Yeah. Number 7, Ibuto, that'll be my second pick, and then number 8, Parmenion. So I think those are the runners that we're going to play around. But Strathclyde, I think he's a little bit better than his rating suggests.
Yeah, I think he's the class package in the race, and he may just be above this type of quality. But the fact is, he's taking on hard-knocking horses that have proven themselves on the poly track. Giambattista is the obvious horse. And then just a quick comment on a horse called Spelling Bee, because last time out it wasn't by, I don't know what happened. Craig Zaki took this horse to the front. He never races like that, and he fell in a heap. And then officer in command from the Mike de Kock yard. If you're playing a pick 6, I know the horse was tried in the Michaelmas last time out. That field looked to be a bit too strong for him. Maybe against this bunch he could run well. But place accumulator, I'm just going to go the 2 numbers, 1 and 2. How many numbers for you?
For me, I'm going to take my chances with number 1, Strathclyde, and number 7, Ibuto.
1 and 7 for Sheldon in the PA, 1 and 2 for myself. But we both agree that whilst we like our selections, we've given a mention to Parmenion, who's a course and distance specialist.
Next up will be race number 4, so get all your bets on by 14:20. This will be over 1,800 meters, and at the early time of recording there's no scratching, so this time all 10 runners will face the starter, 1,800 meters the trip. Just looking at the betting, number 2 Royal Swan Master, most unlucky in his last 2 runs, lost 4 lengths, lost 3 lengths, and second close up. Stays on an 85 from a 2 draw. The Canamea is stable. They would have done their homework. They've put the blinkers on the last 2 runs. Very overdue. So number 2, Royal Swan Master, all depending how he comes out the machine and the pace of the race, but he'll definitely be the horse they have to beat. And then number 8, Shoe Fella. This is a horse who's climbing the ladder and realizing his true potential. He's gone up from a 63 to an 84 now, D's. Can he go for the 4-timer?
I think he can, because the way he's won his last 2 runs, he may just even be generous at an 84. It's amazing how some horses just mature with age. I mean, as a 5-year-old, he's in the form of his career. It's the highest merit rating that he's achieved as a 5-year-old. And the way he's been winning races and, just having this bond now with Tristan Godden, who's partnered him in his last 2 races, I personally think he's on the up. And we saw these colors to the 4 the other day. I think your dad was calling. They had a double in this
Nocturnal Flight?
Yeah, and the horse that I liked earlier on, Rototo.
Rototo.
Yeah, those were the 2 runners. So Jason Murugas, the owner is informed, the stable's informed. The stable is off to America. Peter Muscat told me they're putting him on a plane and they're taking him to see Isi Vungu Vungu.
Yes, I had a chat the other day because we got Chanter's Pride and
Yes.
Sharfolia are probably running on Sunday, and he said he's declared them early because he's on the flight with the rest of them, Anthony Del Pesh, Owen, Devon, the entire team, and it's going to be absolutely amazing to watch Isi Vungu Vungu on the weekend. And talking about that, they got Twa Cut in the race, so that might be interesting.
Yeah, they got the Hollywood Syndicate. We wish them all the best. I mean, over the weekend at the Breeders' Cup with Isi Vungu Vungu, made a smart winning debut in America. And it's going to be a big team representing Hollywood and South Africa at the Breeders' Cup. But coming back to Shoe Fella, I certainly think he can go 4 in a row. He's on the up. Number 2, Royal Swan Master. Yeah, you touched on him losing ground, so just keep an eye on Stallgate 2. If he jumps on terms, he wins. That's the way I see it, because he's just given himself Everest to climb his last 2 races, and he's run close up. So numbers 2 and 8 will be good enough for the place accumulator and the bar pot. For the pick 6, you mentioned the source Twa Cut. 61 kgs is my slight concern for him. He's 61 kgs. Can he lump that type of weight against this field? When I had a look at it, I said, there was a good run behind Positive Attitude, but on that run, I can't see him reversing it to number 2 if 2 jumps on terms.
Yes, there's 3.5 and 4 kilograms between them. So number 2, Royal Swan Master, if he jumps on terms, even if he's slower length and they just get him into the race, he'll be very, very tough to beat. So number 2, Royal Swan Master, they would have done their homework back home, and hopefully he comes out even a length slow, and that could be the difference between running second and winning by a length or 2.
Race number 5 is Jackpot 2. If you want to play Jackpot 2, you need to get on by 14:55. I also just want to take this opportunity, let's put it that way, to do a bit of housekeeping. These Gallop TV preview shows are played out on race day, but it's clearly recorded, it's clearly stated at the bottom that it's pre-recorded. Because I was getting messages the other day saying, you guys are tipping scratched horses, but the guys, we got some time before the next race, so the guys in the OB, and they utilize that time properly. So they put on the Gallop TV preview show, but some guys think that it's live. So guys, it's pre-recorded, and it's written at the bottom, pre-recorded, so not our fault, Sheldon.
100% right. The other day I got a few phone calls as well. You're on TV downstairs, you're commentating 2 minutes later, how's it working and that. So yeah, the guys must check their up-to-date scratchings on the day. and then they'll find the right play.
Yeah, let's go into race number 5, 1700 meters. Number 1 at 5 to 1, 2 is at 3 to 1, 3 at 6 to 1, number 5 at 7 to 1. There's money for Future Saint. A form update ran 4.5 lengths behind Nocturnal Flight. That's from 20 to 1 into 12 to 1. 7 at 11 to 2, 8 at 33 to 10, and then double figures the balance. I really was impressed with Lancia's post-maiden run, not because he ran close up, but because if you saw it, I mean, some guys would have picked it up. If you haven't, it's clearly stated in the form guide I'm using that the saddle slipped that day. And for him to still run such a game race with an uncomfortable seat, let's put it that way. I mean, the saddle didn't come off or anything, it slipped, but it's uncomfortable. You can't get maximum power with your riding style if your saddle slips. So I thought that was a tremendous run from him. I'm making him a serious runner here with only one danger, number 5.
Well, I'm in full agreement with you. Number 2, Lancia. I called that race, and when he moved up at the 300, I was about to say he's going to run past the field. And obviously with that hampered saddle and the slipping of it, just caused him to probably get beat on that occasion. Had the saddle not slipped, he more than likely would have run one. Zoom Bombers come out and run a cracker after that. So number 2, Lancia, he's still maturing. He's got a lot in his favor, and I make him a huge runner. And just looking at the field, he'll be my second selection because number 3, Banzai Pipeline. Although he's getting long in the tooth, he's a 7-year-old, he's still got the will to race, and his last 2 efforts have shown that he's on the comeback trail. But that positive attitude form line, if you like him, number 8, Imvalelo, he becomes the horse that they all have to be very, very sharp to get past here. So race number 5, 3, Banzai Pipeline for me. Absolutely loves the poly track. Garth Puller, he does amazing with these elder horses. So he'll be my first pick. But number 2, Lancia, he's probably the horse they're going to have to beat. And number 8, Imvalelo. Those are the top 3 for me, Dees.
Top 3 for Sheldon. If I'm going to go straight line here, possibly give you 1, 2, 3. I'm going to go 2, Lancia to beat 5, Imaginable, and then 7, few dollars more just to draw to overcome there. So it could be a nice trifecta quartet to catch, but we're both in agreement. Can we bank a Lancia in the PA?
I think so.
Yep, I'm in agreement. Lancia, banker, PA, race number 5.
Next up will be race number 6 to be run at 15:30, and this will be contested over 1600 meters. Anti-post betting has joint favourites 3 and 4. Weight to burn at 7 to 2, along with number 4, Ideal Gift. Number 9, the Queen Bee is 5 to 1. And then number 6, Spring Kiss. This is my first selection and my value bet for the day at 11 to 2. Number 8, Born Ready is 7 to 1. And then we have 8 to 1 and better the rest. Number 5, Pink Diamond, there's been a claim, 14 to 1, down 8 to 1. Now let me get straight to my value bet here, D's. Number 6, Spring Kiss, and looking at the opposition, she's a 3-time winner, 2 wins on the poly, and 2 of those being course and distance victories. She's taken on slightly stronger in the past, and Rachel Benica will take that valuable 1.5 kilograms off the back. I think she's going to be quite tough to beat her in the 1600 meter contest, and I think 11 to 2 is a decent price to have an each way nibble.
She's also my top choice, and I must just add that, when doing the rides, I had a chat with Byron, and he mentioned that although she's above the benchmark, he'd like to use a claimer on just to take the weight off. So, it's not anything untoward with Serena or anything. And I think it's a calculated decision that could pay off handsomely, because you have a rating of 72, and now you're taking off 1.5 for free. So she's actually racing off a net 69. And being a 3-time winner against this type of field, whilst there's form to work around, all she needs to do is come back to the form when Richard was riding her, and she had those back-to-back wins at this course over the distance. If she comes back to that type of form, she wins. Danger, number 3, Weight to Burn. If you're playing a pick 6, I did like the last start. I can't give you all the confidence in the world, but the one thing that we do know is that she's run fairly well out the maidens, And then this horse, Ideal Gift for Robbie Hill. Another horse that, I don't know, last time out, whether it was the horse that just wanted to go or she found herself racing up handy, because I've watched her victories and most of them, she comes from off the speed. And she was just too handy last time out. She may have been a bit too keen and, maybe Daryl Daniels just let her bowl instead of trying to fight her. So if she's more relaxed and settled in the running, I think she'll be right there. But 6, Spring Kiss, ahead of 3 and 4. That will be my top 3.
If we like number 6, Spring Kiss, you touch on number 4, Ideal Gift, in that run to Kiss Houghton on the 18th of September. Ideal Gift finished 3rd, 2 lengths behind. Spring Kiss was just over 5 lengths behind, 5.5 lengths behind. But I'm going to put a draw line through that run of Spring Kiss and Ideal Gift. Maybe a nice exacta, the 4 and the 6.
That could be the way to go. And then 4 and 6, if you want to follow a form line, could be that run behind Kisserton. But in summarizing, race number 6, 1600 meters, Spring Kiss could be beautifully placed with Rachel Vinica claiming 1.5. Well, we're at the latter end of the meeting now. It's the last double in the card, race number 7, 1610. Now, hopefully all things are equal on the day. No delays. We'll kick things off at 4:10. 1200 meters, merit rated 82 handicap. As we bring up the fields, I'll give you some betting. Horses in single figures. Number 2 at 6-1. Horse number 3, Bagalags, 33-10. 4 at 8-1. 6 is at 8-1. 8 at 5-1. 9 at 8-1. And then Savantrix, number 10 at 33-10. Well, Sheldon did mention that he gave a value bet in the previous race called Spring Kiss. I like the horse as well. Made it my top choice, but he likes us at the value. My value bet on the race card comes up here. I'm going big on Winter Waves, a horse that's been kind to me in the past at generous odds, a poly specialist. And I looked at the race. I know if it was 1400 meters, I would have been a bit more confident. But I looked at the race and I can see a lot of horses that will be vying for position early, which should set a good tempo up front. And this is where this horse loves it best. Good fraction set up front, sitting patiently behind Atandiwe Mgutla, who knows him well. Those 2 wins, the most recent wins that Atandiwe has had with this horse. I remember when he had his 8th career win. That was 4 starts back. He moved up. He wasn't even running. I remember him moving up that day, and I said, wow, this horse is 6-year-old and winning so well. So at around 10-1, that's going to be my value in the race. If it was 1400 meters, I would have been big on the horse, considering the pace in the race, if it was this field. But even if it's 1200 meters, the quicker they go, the better it'll be finishing off. That's going to be my value in the race, 10-1, number 5, Winter Waves. And then my backup, 10, Savantrix.
Well, I like your thinking about number 5, Winter Waves, also a horse that I've caught right at the right moments, and Atandiwe Mgutwa. And I'm going to stick with that neither here nor there form line with number 4, Voldemort. So number 5, Winter Waves, number 4, Voldemort. And then you've got horses like number 2, Gorgeous Guy, Savantrix, so quite an open race, but you could be onto the value horse there with number 5, Winter Waves, and then maybe take some swingers and trifectas with number 4, Voldemort. So race number 7, it comes down to number 5, Winter Waves at 10-1. Deez has found the horse that produces the value. Bringing down the curtain, race number 8, which is the Hollywoodbets Bright Future 76 handicap over 1,000 meters. This is for the fillies and mares. And having a look at the 8th and final race, hopefully with our selections or with your selections put together, you're in the pound seat and you'll be playing for free going into race number 8. Looking at the betting, 7-2 the field, number 6, Million Voices, number 5, Prankster 4-1, number 12, Sweet Julia is 5-1, and number 2, Vision to Achieve at around 11-2 and 6-1, and then we go out 8-1 about number 4, Year and After. Now my first selection is going to be number 2, Vision to Achieve. I think she's the class package in the race. She has taken on quite a bit stronger. And Dee's last time out, I made her an each-way selection. So a little bit stiff on that occasion from that 12 draw, and she was beaten close home. She was 25 to 1 and 33 to 1. Even with the 62 kilograms over 1,000 meters, I give her a huge chance. If you go back in her form line, she's got some neat form lines there. It has been 322 days, but if you look at her course and distance record, 4 runs for a win, 2/3 and a 4th, and I think this could be the race, even with 62 kgs, from that draw to run a big race.
Whew. I'm glad that you've given us some confidence with your selection, because this is an absolute nightmare. You get this quartet, you're going to get big cash here. This looks like a tough race. With no degree of confidence, 5 Prankster at 53 kgs, I think she'll be competitive. 6 Million Voices, a strong front runner. I think Tristan Gardner will waste no time getting over from draw number 6, racing her to the front and hoping that she stays on. A horse like Swiss Paradise, last 2 starts, 1,200 meters, a bit too far for her. Over 1,000 with no weight on the back. She could be a horse that Tony Riverland will tell Matthew Thackeray, just let this one loose from the draw and hope that the lane comes in time. So, and then Sweet Julia, the blinkers are on. I see that's an equipment change. Our last start was good behind Ladybug. And then my roughie in the race, don't leave this out of quartets. I kept a seriously close eye on Happy Analia. She's had 2 runs for Tinny Prinsloo, 2 lengths on the turf, over 1,000. Last time out, Polytrack, 6 out of 7, 4 lengths behind Master Bling. Now, she's having a 3rd run for Tinny, and don't be mistaken. Tinny Prinsloo, you can set them up. And I think that she's going to be cherry ripe for this race, just on what I saw of her 2 runs for the stable. So at 16 to 1, if you're looking for a nice rocket, include number 7, Happy Analia. If I'm pushed for 2 horses in the PA Sheldon, I'm going to go 5 and 6.
5 and 6 in the place accumulator. And then horses like number 7, Happy Analia. I'm glad you mentioned this individual. She was feature raced in Gauteng.
100%.
She was feature raced earlier on. And as you mentioned, the Tinny Prinsloo stable, they're very shrewd. I don't think she's going to start 16 to 1. I think her odds will be slashed in half come race time.
Keep quiet. No, I'm joking.
We've got to get on now. Take some exacta swingers with a 2 vision to achieve. And then number 8, Swiss Paradise, back to 1,000, could also be effective. But there's 2 ways of playing race number 8. The field, which I'm going to play the field in my exotics. And in my other exotic, I'm going to take my chances with just numbers 2 and 7, Happy Analia.